And the members of our team here, in particular, Greg Oganowski, who I'll introduce to you shortly, really pushed HEAAC as the codec of choice from listening and testing in our labs 10 years ago. And we decided that that was the standard we wanted to go with. We are a standards-based company, and that is what we like to promote, not proprietary algorithms that don't lend themselves to being used by mass media. So after 10 years of promoting it, we decided it was time to have a little party. And for that, we're going to start out by showing a film, and we're going to introduce some of the folks with the film. Or Greg, you want to do the introductions? All right, I'm going to bring Greg Oganowski, our Vice President of New Product Development for Orban.
Once again, thanks for showing up. You're probably wondering, what in the world is the tie between the Wrecking Crew and HEAAC? Well, that is a real good question, so if you don't mind, before we get going with the movie, let me tell you a little story. It's a story of inspiration. This goes back to the summer of 1967, and with that said, you're starting to get the idea where the tie might come in with the Wrecking Crew. I was literally 12 years old, standing in my driveway with a 2-transistor radio, and happened to catch Bones Howe's Fifth Dimension, Up, Up, and Away playing on 2 50-kilowatt radio stations at the same time. It was playing on CKLW, which was an RKO radio station at the time, and WJR in Detroit, both 1,000-watt facilities. And I went back and forth on the radio dial in absolute, utter amazement, and could not understand how in the world somebody could allow their station to sound like WJR did. It was a telephone, and CKLW sounded like it was going to reach out and grab you. Well, here we are, I don't know, some 40 years later, and I'm still doing the same thing, comparing radio station signals, and we've moved on to the internet because 10 years ago, I felt that internet audio needed to be improved. And the Wrecking Crew, with Bones Howe and all these studio musicians, have an untold story that needs to be told, and it's told through the Wrecking Crew film, which you're about to see. But before we do that, I would like to introduce the man behind the film, Denny Tedesco.
Thank you. I met Greg about, how long has it been, Greg? 4 years ago, 5 years ago? We hadn't had a cut yet. Did we have a film? We did, okay. Just seen it. I started this film, as you'll find out, in 1996. We're still not out for a lot of you people. How many people here have actually seen the film? Oh, repeat business. Okay, good. For you newbies, I hope you enjoy it. But the long story short is, it started in 1996. My father was part of this Wrecking Crew, and he was diagnosed with cancer, as you'll find out. And I just knew I had to get this story out. So what I ended up doing is just basically making a film. Unfortunately, what I ran across was this thing called music licensing. Nothing bad about it, but there was so much music. It was over 100 songs, so it's taken this many years to pay off that music licensing. So now we're in what are we? No, we're not 19. What are we? 2013. Are we in 13? 12. Wow. Where are we? Vegas. Lucky 13. Yes, this is it. So basically, we've raised over $250,000. We have about another 250 to go. We're almost there. And Greg and friends at Orban have actually helped me to get this far. They've given us great donations, fine donations, and that's gotten us to be able to pay off some of these songs. So one of the first songs that we paid off was Up, Up, and Away because of Mr. Greg here. So he was actually the first person to say, why don't you do a dedication chapter? And I said, what are you talking about? He said, listen, Up and Away meant so much to me. He says, I want to dedicate that song on your DVD. And all of a sudden, my marketing light bulb went oh yeah, we'll have the outtakes of all the guitar players, the outtakes of the drummers, and we'll have the dedication chapter. So if it wasn't for Greg, I'd still be struggling for the first $200, so thank you, Greg. But we will have Snuff Garrett here today. He's in the audience, and wait till you meet Snuff. He's in the film. He's going to ask you if anybody was there in 1958, one of the radio conventions. I don't see anybody here old enough for that, though. But let's start the film, and we'll go from there. And actually, Karen, if you don't mind, if anybody has, we're going to pass you these white slips. If you take one of these, you might win something at the end of the film, if you're here. You might win a trip to Hawaii or a hat. What do you think you're going to get? I see you in a while.